Obviously, you're always excited. At this point in time, kids are tired of playing against each other in practice every day and really ready to face someone else. So being able to open up at home is always going to be an exciting part, but basically just a lot of work. So there's always a lot of excitement going into opening day. So hopefully, weather looks like will cooperate. We can have a great Thursday night. Team right now, it's a new team. Even though we have some players that have some veteran experience of some experience from last year, still some young players on the field. Still plan on playing a lot of players this weekend. Trying to find that rhythm and timing. Ultimately, like we talk about consistency, it's not how good a player you are, it's how good do you make this team. And so just trying to find some rhythm with our team and kind of find a little bit of identity. I think that's what the first part of the season is, and get yourself prepared to make a run later. But love the depth. I love the energy this team plays with, that they show up and they work hard. So there's definitely not a lack of effort on their part. So we're excited about it.
These first few games is pretty much just seeing how the rotation and stuff like that, so you play whatever.
Yeah, obviously, pitching wise, it's going to be some mixing up and matching a little bit, kind of see who works well against others. A couple players coming back for some off-season injuries, so probably not 7 innings out of them yet for us. Ashley probably not looking at 7 innings yet. Probably Lindsey Davis, 7 innings might be a little challenging for her at this point as she comes back from rehab assignment. But everyone else, we're hoping is going to be a full go as far as no limitations. We have 7 arms, so we feel like we have a lot of people we could go at you with, and so plan on using them. As far as the position players, we'll mix and match a little bit. Some people come in off the bench and get some valuable time and kind of see how they handle the situation. But I always like to say, game will kind of dictate the momentum and flow of how we want to move people around.
Is it more so about y'all right now than
100%. I think for years I've always gave the boring answer. And I love John Wooden said it years ago, right? He worried about what you do really well, and then everything kind of takes care of itself. And that's kind of obviously we do some scouting and want to understand our opponents. But at this point in time, when to actually say, hey, you're going to prepare for 5 different teams in a weekend makes it a little challenging. So you have to really be good at what you do. Make sure our execution is good. Make sure that we're able to assignments are where they need to be. And that was kind of message yesterday with the players is continually, are we in the right rotations? Are we in the right shifts when we're supposed to be? Does everyone know what you're supposed to do? And I feel like we're talented enough to where that kind of separates. There's a lot of talented players on the team. Now can we play fundamentally sound softball and assignments? Know what you're supposed to do and execute it.
Coach, you mentioned you don't want to really limit the pass.
Yep.
And you just mentioned messaging to the team. But if you go back to the inroads that you made last year,
Yeah.
The ending notwithstanding, what is the message, or is there a message that goes back to how it ended last year and
Yeah.
the level that you got for this year? Or do you simply not reflect to the past with this team?
Yeah, I think we do take some lessons from the past. As far as there were some things that this team did really good. I think some people want to get hung up on that last game, and the bottom line is there's no other McNeese team had ever been in that situation. So I think that was an accomplishment to get there. We're doing things that's never been done here before. And so that's where the focus is what did we do well to make a run? What did we do well to play at a higher level with a young team? And what our team was a pretty loose team that they're able to really portray, keeping things like when you stay focused on doing your job and no one really cares who gets the credit, we could do great things. And I think when you get a locker room full of selfless kids, you're able to accomplish a lot of really good things in there. And that's been more of the message from the older kids, is passing that on to, hey, this is why we talk about these things. This is why we show up every day. This is why warm-up matters so much. It's a mindset of, sloppy breeds sloppy, and detail breeds detail. And so we want to have a detailed approach to everyday life. So that's the message. But at the same token, our message is, this team has not done anything yet. And that's how we approach every single season. It doesn't matter what you have done. That was last year's team. And last year's team had some success, and we're always going to honor that team and be proud of them. But it's our job to put a new team on the field and to see how we could come together. think when you naturally assume that those things will happen again, the keyword assumption, then you quit working on what it takes to get there. And what it takes is tough conversation every day. It takes some real conversation and people not to take things personally. And that's a hard thing in today's day and age, is to actually be able to be honest with someone and it not be personal, you know. And that's what I like about this team. You could coach them. You know, you could coach them and they understand it. And they have a great desire to be great. And I think that's what's a separator, is a lot of people talk about wanting to be great, but they don't want to do the things that it takes. And I could see this team is doing what it takes with their efforts every day.
For you guys, who's going to start? Who's going to be on the mound or on the circle first?
Man, that's a good question. It could be Ashley Vallejo. We could kind of watch her pitch today. She's coming back, like I said. Obviously, she has the most experience with great wins over, you know, right. I guess notable games would be right there with, you know, Minnesota beating, you know, really pitched really well against Washington. Beat Notre Dame a couple years ago, so could her. Hey, Shaylin Sanders is another veteran that I like. I think Shaylin has a shot. She'll see some innings this week. She might be game one starter. But then again, Jim, it could be Lindsey Davis. Lindsey Davis is coming off. She had a great rehab assignment yesterday, and so I mean, she had great innings yesterday. So I kind of like where she's at right now. So kind of throwing that around, and then, you know, freshman Lexi Dibley threw well as well. So I don't know. It could be any of those kids. Ryan Scheck-Snyder could be another option for us as well.
For you guys, opening against a major conference opponent in Cal, what does that do for you guys as you go throughout your season?
What it does is it gets you ready to play, right? Mentally, you got to be locked in. You're about to play a team that had 35 wins coming out of Pac-12. We know they're going to be well coached, play fundamentally sound softball. So it starts off the year right away where you got to be mentally sharp and be focused to be able to compete. And so hopefully it sets the tone for every game for the year. Because I believe when you have great focus every single day, whatever your job is, you're just going to get a little bit better at it. And I think this is what it forces. You know, we understand that we respect. You know, our message is it doesn't matter who we're playing this week. We got to play our best softball. Right? It doesn't matter their record, their brand, or who they are. Focus, like what you guys said, Matt said earlier, is focus on doing what you do really well and be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, I did the best possible job I could do, and what else could I have done to help my team be successful.
As you guys go into the season, do you guys have a team motto or anything like that?
A team motto. The players do have something. I'd be lying if I tell you the exact initials. We have a lot of mottos we talk about in practice, you know, figure things out. And but something that I know that everybody's looking for, that hashtag cliche. I don't know if I necessarily have one. I know they're scheming up some things, but I try to stay out of that. That, you know, those things are for the team, right? And I let them have their personality, have fun with whatever they have on mind. And you know, this team, the one thing that they talk about on a daily basis, and you'll probably hear it from this year, is, you know, when all fails, just ball. You know, that they love to just play ball. And I think that's what's kind of, that's their personality. You see a bunch of kids that love to be at the field every day and just compete.
Coach, you said early schedule, in particular, Sal, is going to set the tone. Do you look at this, the longevity of the season, that you want to set this tone or this team early, or in baseball, there's so many moving parts with the roster. This
Yeah.
team could very well be a work in progress as you work toward conference. Is that
Yeah.
correct or wrong?
I think that's a correct statement. I think that's what's the beauty of the season, is you don't know how it's going to start, right? I've been a part of a team that won 40 games, and, you know, I think at one time, Pam, I think we might have been like 2-9 and ended up winning 40 games, and, you know, and been across a team that we come out of a weekend where, you know, we get ranked in the top 25 for the first time. It seems like people forget about that, but we were ranked in the top 25, and we lost our first 4 games of conference play and kind of spun it around and got hot at the end. So I think when you try to predict your season, that's where you really get in a bind. For us, as you know, Cal's a great opponent that's going to bring quality softball. So we hopefully, for our fan base, they get to see someone they hadn't played. We know we're going to play a quality team, so we have to be at our best or we're going to get exposed. And I mean, in ideal, I think every coach wants that to be the mindset for an entire season. Now, how we handle those things, I don't know. I don't think we don't put so much weight on the beginning of a season, win or lose, that it defines your season. I think how you handle success and how you handle adversity is what ultimately defines you. So, if you win, you still have to go back and forget about it, and you still got to go back to work and find ways that you could get better. And ultimately, what you want to do is be able to. You don't always want to have to lose to learn, And so when you could actually win games and still learn from them, that's a great feeling. But when you lost, is it a loss or is it a learning experience and kind of your playing report card of this is where we need to get better if we're going to have more success down the road?
14 games at home to start. You can't ask for much better than that, can you?
How fortunate we are. I mean, we've come a long ways from when you started covering us years ago, Jim, where we were 22-something games on the road in the month of February. Drove Pam crazy, right? Well, Pam got some days off, right? She didn't have to come to the games. She could just keep it up on computer. But, I mean, now, to be able to play at home in front of your fan base, our student athletes are able to sleep at home that much more. It just makes it feels like a better start to a season. It feels a little bit more connected. And when we recruit players, we talk about you're going to have an intimate relationship with your fan base. And so when you play 22 games at home to start off, I feel like it gives us a great opportunity to connect with our fan base as we move, because we'll need them going through the season. We need that kind of support.
18 games before the conference starts against what would be FBS football program type schools, and 9 from Power 5 conferences.
Yeah.
What does that say about your program as well, as far as being somebody that they're willing to play?
Yeah, I think it's respect of what previous players have done and be able to accomplish. That they've been able to put ourselves on the map of where teams that are looking for good RPI games and quality competition. I think is what we're all searching for. At this time of year is, hey, what are some teams we could play where our kids are going to get excited? It's going to be a great atmosphere, and we're going to see some great softball. We're going to see really fast-paced softball. You're going to see threatening hitters 1 through 9. And stress, anytime you play against great, really talented teams, it adds a mental and physical stress to you. And so I think as a competitor, you want to have that stress to see how you handle it and perform, because there's nothing better than performing in a stressful environment.
Sorry, I thought you were done. But the preseason poll came out after we spoke last week.
Yeah.
Do you guys put any stock in being picked first?
Nah, man, you pick first and finish last, like what everybody remembers, and what you feel like. No one, you don't celebrate a trophy. You're not celebrating the locker room when the rankings come out. It's what you do at the end of the season. It's the body of work that really matters, and what you could put together at the end. So, from our players are very, like when I say a selfless group, they are selfless. And I think the biggest thing with them is they don't really care about the end of the preseason awards. They care about, can we become a good team and win some championships and play well.